Hi guys, just thought I'd make another video talking about, I had mentioned in my last video that I wanted to kind of change the way that I make videos, um, do less like book teaching type of videos and do more personal type videos, still on the same topics of breastfeeding, still with the same goal as empowering mothers. Um, and I really kind of want to do it by using more experience or examples from my life or from other mothers who I met along the way that I feel were a great example and were very successful and great mothers. Um, so I was actually thinking of one mother in particular who actually called the breastfeeding hotline at one time when I worked for WIC. And I was checking the hotline that day, and she was looking for a hospital grade pump. And her complaint was that she didn't make enough milk. She felt like her milk supply was not where it should be, and doctors were very concerned about her baby's weight gain because he was gaining weight, but not the amount that they wanted. And so she was very concerned because her first child, um, she kind of ignored the doctor and kept breastfeeding when the lactation consultant told her, "Oh, you have plenty of milk. Um, don't worry about it." And then her baby ended up being very badly malnutritioned. So she was kind of scarred from that experience. And so she called the hotline for a pump, and I returned her call, and I scheduled to meet with her that week or the next week to give her a pump. Um, Now, when we give out a hospital grade pump, WIC does that free of charge. But when we give that out, we have to make sure that nobody else needs it that's higher priority, like if mom and baby are separated due to, um, you know, baby being maybe in the hospital or mom in the hospital and needs to pump to keep, her milk supply up. Those are usually at the top. Like if you have a preemie who's in the hospital, NICU, and mom needs to keep her milk supply up. So those are like the top first ones that would get a pump. And then you've got ones who are separated for whatever reason. And then you've got ones who would have are on medication and they cannot feed the baby, but they need to keep their milk supply up, so they pump and dump type of thing. And then milk supply moms who do not have enough milk. So they fall, under that, but there might be other moms with pumps, so you can't give out a pump if you have another mom on that higher priority list. But we still tended to have, enough pumps and we're able to help, moms when they needed it. So in particular, she contacted the hotline. I met with her and we discussed it. And like I said, our first job was to make sure that she qualified to get that pump before anyone else. And then we had to discuss what, like, especially with milk supply, you want to kind of like visually see how she's feeding the baby, kind of look at the baby and see if the baby seems, content with the breast and so forth. And of course, listening to her story. And when a mom will come and tell me she didn't have enough milk or she felt her milk supply was low, it's pretty much something we hear over and over and over again. So you can tend, as a lactation consultant or lactation counselor or breastfeeding peer counselor, you can tend to sometimes be like, "Oh, you have plenty of milk." Every mom says that because you hear it so much. And I would say, let's say out of every 10, maybe 2 actually do have a milk supply problem. So in that case, I like to validate the mom. So I'll say, "Okay, we'll give you the pump and let's see how things go. And I want you to, make a list of feeds and that kind of stuff, how much you feed and so forth." So I worked with her for about 6 months actually. And the more I got to know her and the more we talked, the more I started learning about her And then it justified the fact that she does actually have a milk supply problem. And the reason for that was due to um, her hormones as a child going into an adult, and her hormones never completely, um, I guess, established themselves. Then there was some other issues that definitely clarified why she was having this milk supply problem. So we had to supplement the baby with formula, but we were able to work on her supply to the point that the baby was, I think, only taking maybe one bottle a day after that. But it took us a while to get to that point, and he was gaining under the they like to have at least an ounce and half an ounce to an ounce a day, gaining. So half an ounce, you know, would be like zero point 0.5 or something, and he was zero point 0.3 something. But then what we saw was he was the exact same. Like, for example, 0.35. Every single week it was 0.35. He was gaining per day. So we saw that he was gaining. It just wasn't consistent maybe with another baby. So we were able to really establish that she had a milk supply problem, why she had the milk supply problem, and what she would need to do to be able to make sure the baby got enough milk. And like I said, she did end up having to give formula partially, but we were able to slowly lessen the bottles. And it's really, really important when you feel you have a milk supply problem for someone to listen to you. And I also can't stress enough how much like you as a mom should um, express and tell the person that you're getting your lactation help from. Give them, history, anything. If you've had breast surgery, if you had um, your placenta didn't completely come out. Maybe it came out in bits, because sometimes if the placenta pieces don't all come out, it could cause a delay in milk supply. So being completely, I don't want to say honest because that's not really, but giving as much information as you can to your lactation counselor, consultant, breastfeeding peer counselor, whoever you have helping you, because that will help them to help you even more. And never ever settle for, oh, you have plenty of milk, you're just fine. You need to be listened to, and you need to be, I can't think of the word, I keep saying, want to say justified, but you as a mom, you really, if you have a feeling in you, you really should listen to it. And then once it's proven wrong or whatever, then you can go on. But if it's proven, once you get help and it gets better, then you were right to begin with. So my biggest point on this is about milk supply. We hear it a lot. I mean, literally more than once a day. And so we might tend to say, oh, everybody feels they have a milk supply problem, so don't worry, you don't. And don't try not to take that like personal, because some just tend to fall into that, especially if they've been doing it for years and years, just to be like, oh, you're fine. But if you have a deep feeling in your gut that something's not right, keep pushing to get help. Make them prove to you that you have enough milk. Make them listen. But I also want to say that, like I said, maybe 2 out of 10 actually did have a problem with milk supply. So in most cases, if you are struggling with milk supply, there are things that maybe you're doing that are causing it. And not that you're doing anything wrong, but sometimes we don't realize that certain things we're doing could cause a milk supply issue in the future. So it could be just something as simple as that. So don't become overly worried about milk supply, because there are ways that you can, and I'll tell you those in a few minutes, ways to be sure if you have enough, and then reaching out for help if you feel like in your gut just something isn't right. But like for milk supply, if you kind of want a quick, answer, it's 6 diapers in 24 hours, and that's by the time the baby's a week old. You're just looking for 6 diapers. It doesn't matter. Stool can be like 2 or 3 of those, but they tend to change stool patterns. So we're really looking at output, so more like the urine. So you want 6 diapers in 24 hours. So let's say it's 9 o'clock at night, and you are just feeling like the baby's not getting enough. Maybe he or she is just crying and pulling at the breast and just not happy. Pull out 6 diapers, look at the clock, and over the next 24 hours, by 9 o'clock at night the next day, you'll be able to tell if baby's gone through all 6 diapers, most likely more than that. You'll know your baby's getting enough. But if it's very minimal, their diaper is dry 24 hours later, then yes, there might be a milk supply problem and we might want to get that fixed. But call someone for help, before you add a bottle, because sometimes it's the adding of the bottle that is causing the milk supply problem. So that's just another, like tip. Basically, that's the best way. One of the best ways is just the diaper output. So look for 6 diapers in 24 hours. And if you go over that, the baby's doing well. If you have 5, don't really have to worry. Baby goes through growth spurts, so that can tend for them to be irritable every couple of weeks for about 24 hours, which tends to happen within 2-day period, not just a 1 day, all day kind of thing. Sometimes it can go into the next day, and that's just a growth spurt. And yes, they might be feeding on your breast 24 hours, it feels like, but what they're doing is saying, okay, I'm growing. I need to increase the milk, and your milk will increase usually within 24 to 48 hours. And also, they've done some study to find the baby actually is in pain when they're going through growth spurts. They have maybe soreness, so you could learn, if you know baby massage, you could do that. But then also knowing the baby kind of just wants to be comforted, so you might be able to do a lot of skin to skin and a lot of holding that day. But don't feel like you're spoiling your child. And then you just tell people, what, we're just having a bad day. He's growing, she's growing, and we're just gonna have a bad day today. And so just kind of like wanted to share that with you, that tip. That experience was really great for me. It really helped me to really listen to moms, and always for me, I would say, if a mom comes in and says, I don't have enough milk, I'm going to go forward as if she doesn't have enough milk. Let's see what we can do. Instead of saying, nope, you have enough, you're fine. No, we'll look and see if you really don't have enough. So you want to make that mom feel like you've listened to her. So I just wanted to share that tip, and I will talk more. If you have any questions or anything specific you want to ask me, feel free to comment or email me, and I will answer, as quick as I can. That's kind of what I wanted to start the videos for, is to answer your questions. So I don't always just want to talk myself, but to hear what your concerns and questions are, and I'm here to help and answer those. So if there's anything in particular that you would like to ask, feel free. Otherwise, my next video, I will let you know. I'm not sure what specific topic I will talk about, but it'll be something that'll be beneficial, whatever comes up into my mind that day. So hopefully the 2 videos I've just uploaded today will be of some help to you. We kind of talked about milk supply and growth spurts, kind of like touched on that. And then, I also talked about in the other video about engorgement. I didn't really go full into engorgement, so I probably should kind of talk a little more about that. But like I said, I'll try to keep my videos under 15 minutes, and already I'm almost there. So I'll try to do a video specifically on engorgement and see if that helps anybody, because I kind of want to help, and engorgement can be really tough. So I hope everybody has a great day, great night, and I will be back on to talk soon, and maybe that will be my next topic, is engorgement. Hope all of you have a good night, and I will talk to you soon.